Stop. Just stop. Stop celebrating for a second. I know what happened last night. I know City dropped points. I know the title is in Arsenal's hands now. I know all of that. But I need you to actually think about what's coming. Because right now, every Arsenal fan is looking at that fixture list and thinking, 3 easy games, 3 wins, done. 22 years of hurt, finally over. And I'm sitting here thinking, have we learned nothing? Because the game that's coming this weekend, West Ham away, that is not a formality. That is not a walk in the park. That is a trap. And if Arsenal walk into it without the right mentality, without treating it like the most important game of their season, then everything we've been building toward this year could fall apart in 90 minutes at the London Stadium. And that's what this video is about. Not the celebration, not the we're going to win the league energy, not the highlight reels. This is about the danger hiding inside the opportunity. This is about the number nobody's talking about. And this is about why Sunday, before Burnley, before Crystal Palace, Sunday might actually be the most important day of Arsenal's entire season. What's going on, everyone? Amelia here. If you're an Arsenal fan and you're feeling nervous right now, honestly, you're in exactly the right place. Subscribe if you want to stay across everything happening this week, because this title race is not done and things are going to move fast. And drop a comment right now. Just tell me one thing. Are you confident or are you nervous going into Sunday? Because I genuinely want to know how the fan base is split. Because from where I'm sitting, the people who are fully relaxed right now are not paying close enough attention. Let me start with what's actually happening here. Because I think a lot of fans heard City drew with Everton and their brain just switched off, like the job was done. Like the trophy was already being engraved. And yes, mathematically, the picture looks beautiful. Arsenal win 3 games, Arsenal are champions. Simple. But when you actually look at those 3 games, when you sit down and think about the context of each one, the picture gets a lot more complicated. Burnley. Okay, fine. Burnley are relegated. They are playing for nothing. That one, on paper, is the cleanest game Arsenal have. But even then, even in that game, complacency is a real risk. You've seen it before. Teams on the brink of something historic, going into a game they should win easily, and mentally, they're already somewhere else, already at the finish line. And then a struggling side with nothing to lose, playing with freedom, catches them cold. I'm not saying Burnley win. I'm saying Arsenal cannot allow themselves to think it's already over before they step on the pitch. Then there's Crystal Palace on the final day. And this is actually interesting because Palace could be preparing for a Conference League final. If they beat Shakhtar Donetsk, they go to the final. And if that happens, their Europa League qualification is already secured through that route, meaning their last day Premier League position becomes almost irrelevant. So you might end up with a Palace side on the final day who are mentally on a beach in Seville, who aren't fully focused, who aren't pressing like their season depends on it. And look, that sounds like great news for Arsenal on paper, but games like that are weird, low intensity, strange atmosphere, a side that's half switched off, but also not exactly trying to lose. Those games can be uncomfortable. And the last thing Arsenal need on the final day of the most important season in a generation is a flat, uncomfortable, uninspiring performance. But none of it compares to what's waiting for them on Sunday. West Ham, away from home, a team fighting for their Premier League lives. And here's what I need you to really understand about this game. When a team is fighting relegation, when their entire season, their manager's job, their players' contracts, their fan base's dignity is all on the line, they play differently. The physical intensity is different. The desperation is different. The willingness to make ugly, scrappy, confrontational football is different. West Ham don't need to play well on Sunday. They don't need to produce something beautiful. They just need to make Arsenal's lives miserable for 90 minutes. They need to be physical. They need to be direct. They need to use every set piece, every foul, every restart as a weapon. They need to make it a battle. And that's the kind of football that can hurt Arsenal. Not because Arsenal aren't good enough, but because there's a version of that game where it stays tight, it stays tense, it stays goalless deep into the second half, and then the noise from the crowd builds, and the anxiety builds. And suddenly, Arsenal are making decisions they wouldn't normally make, rushing passes, giving the ball away, conceding a set-piece goal. And look, this isn't doom and gloom. This is just reality. This is what happens in title run-ins. The pressure doesn't just affect bad teams, it affects everyone. And Arsenal, for all their quality, for all the progress they've made this year, they've shown that they are not immune to pressure. We've seen it this season. We've seen moments where the weight of expectation gets heavy. And the London Stadium on Sunday is going to be one of the loudest, most hostile atmospheres they've faced all year. Because for West Ham fans, this isn't just a game either. This is their team fighting for their top-flight survival. That stadium is going to be electric, and not in a nice way. So when I say this game is a trap, this is what I mean. On paper, it looks like 3 points waiting to be collected. In reality, it's 90 minutes of sustained pressure in a hostile environment against a team with everything to lose. Arsenal have to win that game. They have to treat it like a cup final. Anything less than full focus, full preparation, full intensity, and this title race just got a lot messier. But here's where it gets serious, because even if you set West Ham aside, even if you say, fine, Arsenal win all 3, there's still a number sitting in the background that nobody's really talking about. And that number is 7. 7 points. Because here's what the article says. Buried in there almost as an afterthought, 7 points might actually be enough, even if City win all of their remaining 4 games. Provided, and this is the key word, provided Arsenal have a superior goal difference at the end of the season. Now, read that back. 7 points from 3 games. That's 2 wins and a draw, which sounds comfortable, which sounds like plenty of room for error. But the moment you attach goal difference to it, the moment you make it conditional, everything changes. Because Arsenal cannot control what City score. Think about that for a second. City go to Brentford. Fine, that's a tough game. Brentford have been excellent. But City also have fixtures that they can absolutely put cricket scores on if they're chasing goal difference. And Pep Guardiola is not a manager who needs an invitation to play aggressively. So imagine this scenario. Arsenal beat West Ham 1-0. Tidy game, clean sheet, job done. Great. Then Arsenal beat Burnley, let's say 2-0. Fine, still good. But in between those games, City are absolutely dismantling their opponents, winning 4-0, 3-0, running up the goal difference. And suddenly, going into the final day, Arsenal need a result. And they need to worry about the margin of victory. That changes the psychology of the game entirely. Because now Arteta's team isn't just trying to win, they're trying to win by enough. And that kind of thinking, that kind of goal-counting, calculator football can absolutely destroy a team's rhythm and confidence. Look, I'm not saying this is the most likely scenario. I genuinely believe Arsenal should be targeting 9 points, maximum. Win every game and make the question irrelevant. But the fact that 7 points might not be enough, the fact that goal difference could be the deciding factor in a Premier League title race, that alone should tell you how much margin for error there actually is here. And that's why Arteta will not, cannot allow his players to think about anything other than maximum points. He'll be hammering that in training this week. Win, win again, win again. Don't think about City, don't think about goal difference, control what you can control. That's the right approach. But as fans, as people watching from the outside, we need to understand that the safety net is much thinner than the headlines are suggesting. Now let's talk about City's remaining fixtures, because I keep seeing fans dismiss them like City are obviously going to win all 4 and that's that. And I just don't agree. Brentford. Have you watched Brentford recently? They are a physical, well-organized, dangerous team who love nothing more than disrupting technically superior sides. Thomas Frank has them playing with real energy and belief. City going to Brentford is not an easy afternoon. Then there's Bournemouth, who are actually chasing Champions League football. Bournemouth in the Champions League conversation, which tells you everything you need to know about how well they've played this season. They are not going to roll over for City. They have something to play for. So yes, City dropped points at Everton, and Everton, to their credit, came back from behind twice. Jeremy Doku got a last-minute equaliser, which probably felt like a lifeline. But in the grand scheme of things, a draw for City was still a damaging result. And there's more damage possible in their remaining fixtures. I'm not saying City can't win all 4. Of course they can. They're City. They have the quality. But the narrative that they'll breeze through everything, while Arsenal are the ones under pressure, that's not how this works. Both teams are in this together. Both teams have things to prove. And actually, here's a thought. Maybe the pressure of needing to win all 4, of knowing Arsenal are right there, of knowing one more slip could hand the title to their rivals, maybe that gets to City too. They're human. Their players feel it. Their manager feels it. And right now, Arsenal are the team with the simpler equation. Win your games and you are champions. That's not nothing. That's actually a powerful position to be in. But here's my honest opinion on this whole situation. Sunday is the title decider. Not mathematically, not officially. But in terms of momentum, in terms of mentality, in terms of what it does to both squads psychologically, Sunday at West Ham is the moment. If Arsenal win convincingly, with energy, with clarity, they go to Burnley with their tails up, with belief running through the whole squad, with the sense that the title is theirs to take and they're not going to let it slip. If Arsenal draw, even if they still have a path to the title, even if they're still in control, there will be a shadow. There will be doubt. There will be that familiar Arsenal anxiety creeping back in. And we know what that can do. We've seen what doubt does to this squad when the stakes get high. And if Arsenal lose on Sunday, then everything opens up again. City are back in it. The goal difference conversation becomes the main story. The pressure becomes enormous. And we'd be going into Burnley and Palace with our nerves absolutely shredded. So no, I don't want to hear, it's fine, we still have 3 games. That's not how football works at the top level. Every game shifts momentum. Every result sends a message. And Arsenal need to send a very clear message on Sunday. We are ready. We are here. And we are not going to let this slip. Because here's what this is really about. When you strip everything back, 22 years. 22 years since Arsenal last lifted the Premier League trophy. I know some of you watching this weren't even born then. I know some of you have spent your whole lives as an Arsenal fan and never seen your club as champions of England. And I'm not going to pretend that doesn't matter, because it does. It matters enormously. This isn't just a season. It's not just a title race. For Arsenal supporters, for real Arsenal supporters who have been through the years of near misses and the years of rebuilding and the years of just hoping, this is about something much bigger than football. This is about identity. This is about proving that everything Arteta has built is real. This is about Saka and Martinelli and Ødegaard and Rice, a generation of players who actually believe in what they're doing, getting the reward they deserve. And I think that's why the anxiety is so real right now. Because it's not just about whether we can beat West Ham, it's about whether we can handle the moment. Whether, when it matters most, when the whole country is watching and the history books are being written, whether Arsenal can stay calm and get the job done. I believe they can. I do. I genuinely believe this squad has the quality and the mentality to win those 3 games. But belief doesn't get you 3 points at the London Stadium on Sunday afternoon. Focus does. Intensity does. The right preparation and the right mentality does. And Arteta, I trust Arteta to get this right. If there's one thing he's shown this season, it's that he knows how to prepare his team for the big moments. But the players have to execute. And the first execution is Sunday. So here's where I land on all of this. Arsenal need 9 points. Not 7, 9. Maximum. Win every game and remove any doubt, any scenario, any goal difference calculation from the conversation entirely. And the way to get 9 points starts with West Ham. Not with Crystal Palace, not with the final day, with Sunday. Treat it like a final. Go there with the same aggression, the same tactical clarity, the same hunger that you'd bring to any game where your season is on the line. Because here's the thing, your season is on the line. Every game from here is a final. That's the only way to think about it. Win Sunday and the pressure shifts massively onto City. Win Sunday and Burnley becomes almost a formality. Win Sunday and you go into the last day, whatever the situation, with confidence instead of desperation. Don't win Sunday and everything gets harder. Everything gets more complicated. And we don't want complicated. Not now. Not after 22 years of waiting. So I want to know, and I mean this genuinely, how are you feeling right now? Because there are two types of Arsenal fan watching this video. There are the ones who are riding the wave, feeling the belief, trusting the process. And there are the ones, like me, if I'm being honest, who have seen enough Arsenal seasons to know that the road between title in our hands and actually lifting it is never as smooth as it looks. Which one are you? Drop it in the comments. Tell me your honest thought. Are you walking into Sunday feeling like champions? Or are you feeling the weight of 22 years sitting on your shoulders? Because if it's the second one, you're not alone. And maybe that nervousness is exactly what we need right now. Maybe that's Arsenal's greatest weapon heading into this week. Not comfort, not arrogance, but the desperate, burning, terrified hunger of a fan base that knows exactly what this means. And a squad that feels it too. Come on, Arsenal, let's do this.